Are you looking for new music from 2022 that you want to listen to help you get a good feel for music that's coming out within the year? Check out my playlist down in the description below. 2022 is on fire, where I feature my personal favorite tracks from the albums I've listened to throughout the year, whether I've reviewed it already, only written the review, or just listened to it casually. Check it out when you have the time. I'd really appreciate the support, and you might even find a band or an artist that you didn't know previously that might be a new favorite. Without further ado, let's get into the video. Get ready to get fucking lost, because this album is like a black hole. Welcome to Everyone Does Music. We're today looking at the newest EP from rapper Pouya. Pouya, I'm just going to call him Pouya. I hear a lot of people say different things. This EP is called Hurt, Dirt, Pain. Pouya is somebody whose sound I always fucked with in one way or another, in a similar vein to close allies Suicide Boys or far-off comparisons like the always controversial Lil Darky and other members of the Spider Gang, but I never took the time to sit down with the release in full like I am here and now. With a bass-heavy sound and a blink and you'll miss it flow, I figure 2022 is as good a time as any to sink into the heavy thematic elements of one of rap's best-kept secrets, so let's fucking go. Since this is an EP, it's going to be pretty quick on the review side, even considering some of the reviews I've been doing recently. A lot of quick ones, a lot of like 6-minute ones. So forgive me if I go too quick with this, but the first thing I want to touch on is that the consistency here is key, and it's also the biggest thing we get here on the EP. His music has always had a deep and personal touch, and it's nice to see a track like Serpent carry on this idea in spades. On one end, he's admitting to feeling like a burden, but also claiming to be a serpent dodging other snakes and tricksters around him, and sort of a double-edged sword idea that sounds really good when he communicates it. The entire song is really him saying he's down on his luck, deep in shit, then turning around and acting like a king on a throne, and it keeps you listening at attention for his delivery and the way he's telling the story. His overall vocal tone comes off as flat at first, but that choice pays off when you get two sides to a coin, like here in Serpent, allowing you as a listener to take in both aspects on equal footing, as opposed to having him talk a big game with a confident voice and admit to shortcomings with a more subdued level to his voice. I think the second verse is the best part of the song and sums up both those things perfectly without fail. Overall, a lot of people give Pouya shit because he's got kind of a flat delivery, more of just like a, yeah, this is what I rap like, this is what I sound like, this is okay. It pays off when it pays off, and this is where it fucking pays off. While the undertones and lyrical themes closely match up to Pouya's on a surface level, I gotta say that a feature from someone like Baker Ya Maker comes off as more abrasive than anything else in terms of vocal matchups. While Baker's delivery and pacing in the verses are a solid match, the drastic difference in vocal tone feels off when put up against Pouya, as opposed to having two very different voices on a different rapper's project. I go into a Pouya album and I expect that repetitive, solid delivery and consistency, especially after listening to this album first time on a casual listen, then going back to miscellaneous releases. There's solid delivery and consistency when I go into a Pouya album, and having these two on one track together makes me feel kind of disjointed, whereas Never Enough featuring Lou feels a little more in line with the first two tracks and sounds better in comparison with the same levels of volume and delivery as well as pacing. But I think the best collab here comes at the very end of the album with the track Don't Trip featuring Micah. Him and Pouya just match up perfectly, creating a seamless track that feels like no time at all is passing, which is refreshing considering this is the longest album. So, fuck's sake. Refreshing considering this is the longest song on the album. There we go, holy shit, fuck. Told you this was going to be a quick review, we're already at the end. Finally, I want to very quickly touch on the intro track, The Wages of Sin is Death. I feel like looking back at past releases, this stands right next to recent album intro Dying Slowly as one of the best examples of Pouya's ability to set the scene and establish the vibe of his albums effortlessly. Plain and simple, this is one of those songs you can show somebody to get them hooked and into this album with the premise present of it being in the kickoff, as well as one of the better songs on this EP as a whole. When it comes to an introduction track, I talked about it previously in recent reviews, it takes a lot of focus, effort, polish, and effort upon effort to make that intro track really stand out and really bring in the album the right way. A lot of intro tracks, they're just songs. They don't bring in an album, they don't present themes, they're just songs that are in the track list. This is an example, along with many other examples, of how to make an intro fucking matter. I'm not the world's biggest fan of Pouya. In fact, he still sits kinda low on my priority list, even after this EP, but this release is a solid reason for me to further my belief that he's a solid rapper nonetheless. If you're in a similar artist like the two I mentioned earlier, or want something different from the main pack of usually recommended rappers like Kanye, Kendrick, or J. Cole, and similar crew, then Pouya is your man. For those reasons and the ones I've listed above, Hurt, Dirt, Pain gets an EP score of 3.5 out of 5 or 7 out of 10. That's a review. Let me know what you guys think down in the comment section below. I think this review might actually hit below 5 minutes. That's wowee, holy shit, I'm really busting through these. I mean, these are the scripts word for word that I'm reading off, especially because I'm looking down and reading them, but holy shit, these are quick as hell. I hope you're having a good day. I hope you're staying hydrated, and I hope to see you next time. Have a good one.